Empaths aren't just sensitive people, they are energetic truth amplifiers. Their very presence reveals what's hidden. When an empath walks into a room, emotional facades start to crack because their energy doesn't compete, it clarifies. And in systems built on manipulation, control, or pretense, that clarity is dangerous. Here's why empaths are often hunted and targeted. Narcissists, power hungry leaders, and energetically dark systems thrive on illusion and hierarchy. But an empath doesn't even have to say much. Their vibration itself exposes deception. Their intuition picks up lies before they're spoken. That makes them a threat to anyone whose power depends on secrecy or control. So the strategy becomes discredit, isolate, or drain them. Anything to silence that discernment. Empaths feel others' pain as if it were their own. But when surrounded by people who weaponize emotions, that same gift becomes a weakness. Predators sense that open energy field like sharks smell blood. They know empaths will rationalize cruelty, excuse mistreatment, or try to heal the very thing that's destroying them. That's why empaths attract takers, because they emit an endless supply of compassion until they learn discernment. In workplaces, family, or relationships, empaths often become the unpaid emotional laborers, the peacekeepers, the mediators, the healers, and listeners. But in energetic terms, they are also the batteries. Their light keeps toxic systems running longer than they should survive. Once they wake up and pull their energy back, those systems begin to collapse. That's why some people panic when an empath finally detaches, because the illusion starts losing power. Many empaths incarnate into bloodlines where silence, trauma, or generational dysfunction reign. They are sent to end cycles, not to fit into them. But that also means the very family, culture, or institution they were born to transform will often turn against them first, trying to preserve an old pattern. You'll notice the empath isn't just dealing with personal pain, they're standing in the crossfire of ancestral warfare. Spiritual predators, narcissists, and manipulators learn how to mimic empathy to get close to you. They don't always attack violently. Sometimes they infiltrate softly, emotionally, romantically, spiritually, anything to gain access to the empath's energy field. They want what the empath carries, that divine current that can't be manufactured. But they can't create light, only consume it. So they study it, seduce it, then siphon it. Many millionaires and billionaires who cannot create light will often surround themselves with individuals they can siphon off of because they've studied them. So they know how to seduce them to get close. They know their bad behavior, as long as they give an apology, will be excused away. So every time when they make that excuse, right, they make a mistake and the empath sees it, they'll say, I'm sorry. And the empath, knowing what they have observed, they accept it. And it continues in a loop, in a cycle, over and over until the empath finally gets it and begins to learn discernment and accept their awareness. When an empath walks into a toxic environment, things start surfacing, truths start leaking, and secrets can't stay buried. They are like divine audits sent into dark systems. The reason they are hunted isn't just because of who they are, but because of what follows them: justice, correction, exposure, and recalibration. Because they remind the world what love actually feels like. And love, pure, unconditional love, is the one force that dismantles control. When people taste that kind of authenticity, they start breaking free. They stop complying. They remember their worth. That's why systems that rely on fear or hierarchy can't afford too many awakened empaths to roam freely. So they target them early through rejection, betrayal, gaslighting, trying to make them question their own sensitivity. But the truth, empaths aren't weak. They're spiritual lie detectors, walking around with open hearts. The hunt isn't personal, it's energetic warfare. The goal is to make the empath shut down, go numb, or turn bitter. Because once their heart closes, their power becomes neutralized. But once an empath learns energetic boundaries, they become unstoppable. Their compassion turns into discernment, and their love becomes strategy. And that's when the hunters start to fall away. Because the light they once sought to steal now burns through them. When an empath walks into that room, everything that was pretending to be light starts to tremble. It's not because they're loud, it's because their spirit is honest. And honesty is the loudest frequency in a dishonest world. Today, we're going to talk about and continue to talk about why the empaths are hunted and targeted. It is not because they're weak. That's the lie. It's because they see, right? Empaths carry what I call exposure energy. It's the kind of energy that makes deception sweat. You can't fake peace around them. You can't perform humility. Their intuition starts scanning a room the way sunlight scans a dusty floor. When you carry that much truth, you don't have to confront people to convict them. Your presence does. And that's the danger. Because in systems built on pretense, families that live off secrets, jobs that thrive on manipulation, relationships that run on ego, your truth becomes a threat. So they call you too sensitive, too emotional, too deep. But what they really mean, you saw too much too soon. Empaths don't go looking for drama. Drama finds them because their energy acts like a spiritual audit. It exposes hidden motives, unspoken envy, and those quiet betrayals. Even silence starts to tell on people when an empath walks in. There's something about an empath's nervous system. It's wired to pick up what the world hides. You'll feel tension before conflict. You'll sense dishonor before it shows. You can read tone shifts, micro expressions, energetic signatures. And that ability terrifies manipulators. So, what do? They try to rewrite your perception. They gaslight you. They make you question the very sensitivity that keeps you alive. Because if they can confuse your intuition, they can control your reality. But here's the truth, that sensitivity isn't fragility, it's discernment. And discernment is the ultimate spiritual technology. When you sense dishonesty, don't doubt yourself. Don't explain away the unease. Your body felt the lie before your mind processed it. That's divine intelligence moving through empathy. Empaths were never meant to argue with deceit. They were meant to expose it by existing in truth. When you're built to reveal, isolation becomes your teacher. Because people start retreating, not because you did anything wrong, but because your light started highlighting their darkness. They'll say you changed when in truth, you just started seeing clearly. Exposure energy will always attract resistance first, appreciation later. It's why so many empaths go through seasons of misunderstandings, years where nobody gets them. But solitude is how your discernment calibrates. You learn what's yours to feel and what's been projected onto you. You learn to stop rescuing people who enjoy the chaos they're in. You learn that empathy without boundaries is self-betrayal. In that stillness, God teaches you the difference between feeling responsible for pain and being called to heal it. Not every wound is your assignment. Empaths are not just emotional beings, they are spiritual instruments. Your empathy was never just for comfort, it was for confrontation of the unseen. You feel energetic tension because you're standing between deception and divine disorder. When darkness wants to hide, it targets those who see. When systems fear exposure, they discredit the seer. That's why prophets, healers, and visionaries have always been persecuted. Empaths are the modern extension of that lineage. You weren't sent to fit in, you were sent to reveal. And revelation will always look like rebellion to those invested in illusion. So the attacks you face, they aren't random. They're reaction, proof that your presence is disturbing, something that needed to end. Every smear campaign, every misunderstanding, every door that slammed in your face, all confirmation that you're doing exactly what you came here to do. Bring truth to light. Eventually, exposure energy stops feeling like a curse and starts feeling like power. You stop apologizing for your clarity. You start protecting your peace. You realize that not everyone deserves access to your listening because your listening heals. When you finally master the gift, your empathy becomes a boundary, not a burden. You see without absorbing, you discern without draining. And the same light that once got you hunted now becomes your armor. So if you've ever wondered why people react so strangely to your presence, why fake friends flee, why secrets surface, why manipulators can't stand you, it's because you're light in human form. And light doesn't chase darkness. It simply shines. And darkness has no choice but to disappear. You are not too sensitive. You are simply tuned to truth. Stay covered, stay conscious, stay undefeated. See you on the next one. Bye bye.